Hey folks, I'm best-selling author of The Power Zero, David McKnight. In today's video, you'll see part 2 of my conversation with CPA Chris McCormick, in which we discuss why Americans are so skeptical about cash value life insurance.
My question, I guess, as somebody who has kind of started this financial revolution, how have you seen this or the response to it, right? Because something like the life insurance retirement planning that you talk about and building a tax-free retirement, a lot of people are skeptical of it. And I think you touch upon this a little bit in your book around fees with life insurance retirement and just, I mean, what I've seen, people are very, they don't hold back when it comes to insurance salesmen and life insurance salesmen. So when you released it, and then even maybe in the updated version of 2018, how were you seeing the response? Obviously 350,000 copies is positive, but how about the other side of it?
So there's two places where I've gotten blowback. Mm-hmm. The first one is people challenging me that tax rates in the future are actually going to be higher than they are today.
Yeah.
I had a now infamous exchange with a guy named the White Coat Investor, in which, he wrote a big long blog post about why the basic premise of my of the Power Zero was completely wrong. He says, look, tax rates ebb and flow over time. They were higher in the 70s. They're lower now. Maybe they could be higher in the future, but there's no real reason to think that they would be. We're just going to print our way out of the problem. And of course, that flies in the face of what all the third-party experts are saying about the future of tax rates. And so I challenged him on it. We had a series of exchanges. He later, as Joe Biden was running for president, he read over Joe Biden's tax proposal. And he goes, hey, if Joe Biden gets elected, I'm going to convert my entire IRA to Roth all in 1 year. And to which I responded on Twitter, I said, I'm glad you're starting to come around, to which he blocked me. But the point is that even my most, my most ardent detractors are beginning to come over into my camp and to recognize that tax rates in the future are going to be higher than they are today. And the other place where I've gotten pushback is this idea of the life insurance retirement plan or cash value life insurance. I specifically utilize in my clients' tax-free retirement plans, Index Universal Life. Mm-hmm. And I think the pushback that I get is primarily from people who believe that what I'm advocating is that people put all of their retirement savings into these types of vehicles, which obviously couldn't be further from the truth. I'm actually one of the lone voices crying in the wilderness, telling people that they absolutely should resist what they're seeing on TikTok and elsewhere, social media platforms, saying that the IUL is some sort of silver bullet or panacea. The IUL does precisely what it claims to do. It gives you some exposure to the upside of the market with a guarantee against loss. We're not talking stock market replacement. We're talking between 5 and 7% net of fees over time with a death benefit that also doubles as long-term care. Most of my clients and prospects like the LIRP because it does give them that death benefit that doubles as long-term care. And should they die peaceful in their sleep, never having needed long-term care, someone's still getting a death benefit, probably their kids or their grandkids. So there's that sensation of having paid for something they hope that they never have to use. So I'm actually one of the only, like I said, lone voices in the wilderness trying to get the word out that the LIRP is actually not a silver bullet, that it only really works well when used in concert with all of the other tax-free streams of income in the IRS tax code. What my goal is to try to get people to take advantage of all the nooks and crannies in the IRS tax code, Roth IRAs, Roth 401ks, Roth conversions, taking money out of your IRA up to standard deduction so that those distributions are tax-free. And if you can keep your provisional income low enough, then your Social Security is tax-free. And then and only then should you think about utilizing as a complement to all those other streams of tax-free income, the LIRP or cash value life insurance. And so it really becomes, a complement to your financial plan, not the entire financial plan in and of itself. And so I've produced a lot of videos on my own YouTube channel, The Power Zero, where I specifically target the people on social media who are trying to make the case that cash value life insurance is the end-all be-all financial solution, because it certainly isn't. And so that's really my approach. I think it can play a role, but it's certainly not the silver bullet that people make it out to be.
Wow. Yeah, that's reassuring, because I've definitely seen my fair share of people that for every financial situation they come across, the solution is life insurance. And that, I think that's what turns people off. But you're saying, David, that it's usually after you've reached the point of no return for all of the other options from a tax deferral standpoint, a tax-free standpoint, even a taxable bucket standpoint. Do I have that correct?
Well, let me sort of qualify that statement. I'm not saying like you check all these things off your list, and then if you've done all those other ones, then maybe then and only then would you use the cash value life insurance. Let me sort of qualify that statement. I would say, for example, that there's a very specific use that pre-retirees can utilize the LIRP. And let me sort of describe what it is. And this is beyond the long-term care benefit that's inherent in most LIRPs. There's something called a volatility buffer. And basically, the problem with traditional stock market investing is there's something called the 4% rule. And this is something I've sort of been critical of Dave Ramsey for over the years. The 4% rule is basically something that academia has come up with, which basically says you can only ever take out 4% of your day one retirement balance and retirement, adjusted for inflation, and have a realistic expectation of having your money last through life expectancy. And you have about an 86% chance your money will last through life expectancy if you can adhere to that 4% distribution rate. Well, Dave Ramsey thinks that number is double. He thinks it's 8%, but that's nearly everybody universally decries that as, up in the night sort of stuff. But here's an interesting thing. The reason why 4% rule is as low as it is because you're going to be taking money out even when the market is down. And because you're taking it out when the market is down, you can't take 8 or 10 or 12% out because that would force your retirement savings into a death spiral from which it never recovers. And so what I've found is that if somebody will direct 30% of their retirement savings to a life insurance retirement plan, let that grow and compound over time, and then in retirement, in the year following a down year in the market, pay for your lifestyle expenses out of your LIRP. That gives your stock market portfolio a chance to recover before you take further distributions. And all of the Monte Carlo scenarios that I've done, and we've created calculators that show this, is that you can actually double your sustainable retirement distribution rate on your stock market portfolio if you will simply live out of your LIRP in the years following a down year in the market. And that's pretty phenomenal. And so I would say if somebody's young and they want to really wring the most efficiency out of their retirement dollars, contribute, say, 30% of your retirement savings to an LIRP, build up that nest egg over time, and then put the rest of it into a Roth IRA or a Roth 401k. To me, that's a really balanced, comprehensive approach to tax-free retirement that allows you to maximize your withdrawal rate in retirement so you can sort of wring more efficiency out of your stock portfolio. Okay, folks, that was part 2 of my interview with CPA Chris McCormick. In the next 10 years, I'm looking to put 100,000 Americans on the road to the 0% tax bracket. If you would like some help implementing a balanced, comprehensive approach to tax-free retirement that shields you from the impact of higher taxes down the road, head on over to davemcknight.com and click on the Connect with an Advisor button. I'm happy to refer you to an advisor in the Powers of Your network that has been trained, vetted, and qualified personally by me. If you're a financial professional and want to learn how to become a certified Powers of Your advisor, head on over to powersyour.com and opt into my free video series. And if you have any comments or questions, feel free to drop them into the comment section below. I'll respond to every single one of them personally. And don't forget to click like, subscribe, and the bell so you never miss a video. This is David McKnight. I look forward to seeing you on the next video.